Happy Crockin Monday, y'all.
All families are busy, ready to get around the table and have a nice dinner together, but it's also election season, so you need to make sure you get out there and vote. You can come home to a warm meal. Nothing says all-American and family meal to me better than a meatloaf. So Nicole and I are both going to be showing you our family meatloaves, and then Nicole has a yummy apple dessert for you too.
I do. Okay, my family meatloaf came from my nanny. This is her recipe. It's a very basic meatloaf recipe. If you don't really like meatloaf, I suggest you try this one out, because if you like meat and you like ketchup, then you pretty much will like this one.
So it doesn't have a ton of the other veggies.
It doesn't. It has a lot of just your basic ingredients that you have in your pantry or your fridge. So
we usually get down and dirty and mix this with our hands at home, but we're gonna use our gloves so she can go on to do our apples. You don't want to mix that.
Okay, so I have 2 pounds. The key in the slow cooker, or really any meatloaf, is to get very lean, extra lean ground beef. So I have 2 pounds of extra lean ground beef in my bowl here. We're gonna add 1 can of tomato sauce. It's a small can, about the 8 ounce. A small onion I have chopped. About a cup. 1 egg. And about a cup of ketchup. Now you will need some more ketchup to top it off here in a minute, but to go in it, I do about 1 cup. You know, with meatloaf, I don't even think my nanny has this written down anywhere in the recipe book. Then you just mix it all in, but a meatloaf is like so much to taste. You've got
to, what you like.
Yes, exactly.
And the reason we're using the extra lean is if it's going to be sitting in there, like I know if I cook it in my oven, I can pull it out, drain it, put it back in for a little bit, drain some of it off. But with it cooking all day, you're not going to want it sitting in that grease, and it's not going to have the firm texture if the meat isn't lean enough.
So, I don't know about you guys, but when I eat meatloaf, I mean, like we said, this is a family meal.
Right.
Thank you. My mom has served meatloaf with mashed potatoes, green beans, and a good roll.
Yes, and so the mashed potatoes and green beans, you can find it on crockingirls.com. We've done the green bean casserole, and we've done some garlic smash.
Do you mind spraying this slow cooker
potatoes?
For me, please?
Sure. So you can check out those recipes on our site for some yummy sides to go with it.
I suggest spraying it, that way it doesn't stick. We're just gonna add this meatloaf down into it, and I'll just get it balled up here. Kind of form it up. I don't use breadcrumbs or anything in mine. The egg seems to get it mixed well, get it to form. Okay, so you see me just pulling it away from the edge just a tad there. That way when that grease does, it will just surround the edges there, and you can just take your meatloaf out. All right, if you don't mind, just drizzle me some ketchup on the top there. I'm gonna remove these. Perfect. Okay, and that's all there is to it. You just cover this, cook it on low. You can cook this all day for about 7 to 8 hours. If you have auto switch to warm, how awesome is that? It'll just auto switch to warm. You've got a 10, 12-hour day there.
Right, and we have people ask us all the time, what are some ground beef recipes that I can do without browning the meat first? Meatloaf is a great one to go to.
Yes.
So mine is different. I do add all those ingredients that make it really thick, lots of veggies in it. But I'm also going to be showing you a different way to cook it in your slow cooker. I will normally at home double my meat and add a few extra of these ingredients. But for today, I'm using 1 pound of the extra lean ground beef.
That's very important.
Yes. And then I have half of a sleeve of the saltine crackers. I use the whole grain. And I've just crushed those up.
Those are fun for the kids. Put them in a little baggie, let them hammer on the way with a little spoon.
Right. Throw it in there, get some of their energy out. 1 egg. 1 bell pepper chopped. And if you want to double your meat, you can this is 1 onion chopped. You can probably do 1 to 2 bell peppers, 1.5 onions. Just like Nicole was saying, it's all to taste. The remaining ingredients, I'm going to be adding half into my meatloaf and then half for my sauce. I have about 2/3 cup of brown sugar here.
Yummy, yummy.
And then I'm going to put some for my sauce. I have 4 tablespoons of mustard. And to taste, if you don't like the mustard, just put a little extra ketchup or tomato sauce in there. I have 2/3 cup of ketchup. I know everybody makes their meatloaf different. It's
Yes.
just what your family likes. This is basically, you can know that you can cook your meatloaf in the slow cooker and adjust it to how you like it. I have 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire. I'm going to put some in my meatloaf and then some for my topping. And then last, I've used 1 can of tomato sauce, which is an 8-ounce can, and I'm going to put some in each. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm going to put some salt and pepper in to taste. Now, when deciding how to cook mine, my mother-in-law, when she cooks her meatloaf, she will do it in silicone muffin tins.
That's such a great
That
idea.
way, especially for kids, they get their little meatloaf, little single serving, and it's a great serving size for kids.
Is it like the miniature ones? The little...
Just like the cupcake size.
Oh, that's cute.
So, she just does it in that. So I was thinking, I could either do it in that, which if you have the silicone tin, go ahead and try that out. I have gotten the mini loaf pans that are the disposable, like just a throwaway kind. I like this idea because I can do it for freezing, and with my husband working at a school, it's great for him just to grab and take to lunch. Anybody to take to lunch.
Or if Nicole stops by Jenna's house and I can grab a meatloaf to take home.
Grab a couple loaves. So, and people ask us for cooking for 1 to 2, the smaller recipes. So you can make this full recipe and this is going to freeze really well. So, I'm going to pull my gloves off.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, oh, I didn't even, I'll stick it in with my spoon. So I have the disposable tins. Now, this is what it looked like after I cooked it. So it's, if you want to double this, you can stack these. The muffin tins, you can stack those also if you do not put them directly on top, if you like stagger them a little bit. So I'm just gonna stick some of this down in the tin.
Now, I don't know about you, but meatloaf, like I love it the day I eat the meatloaf, but the days after that,
leftover,
I do meatloaf sandwiches. Like that is the best thing in the world. I think I like that better than eating the meatloaf. I don't know, those mashed potatoes and meatloaf, something about that.
Yes, leftover is very good. So I would probably double my recipe so I could have leftovers. So I'm gonna stick that down in there. I'm gonna mix up my sauce. I'm going to put majority of this sauce, distribute it between all of the loaves, but I am going to save some of it for like 30 minutes before serving. You can put a little more on there, and you can add a little more tomato if you want it more tomatoey. Stick some of that down on there.
While you're drizzling, I am going to get my crescent rolls opened up.
I'm excited about this apple dessert, apple dumplings.
This recipe is from a friend of mine.
On the meatloaf, you're just gonna stick these down in here. If you have multiple, you can, if you're stacking them like this in your slow cooker. If you want to do a second stack, you can turn them this way and stack them on top of your other ones. You're going to cover this, and just like Nicole's, you're going to cook it on low for about 8 hours. Even longer if you want, probably 8 to 10 hours on low. And if you want to do this without the tins or without the silicone pans, you can just put it straight in like Nicole did hers and cook it that way also. Okay. Now on to dessert.
On to dessert. Yeah, when we were thinking about all-American meal, you know, a lot of things came to our mind. You know, we're from Texas. We love us some chicken fried steak. Good cobbler is good, but we thought, you know, most people, apples.
Right, apple pie.
You can't go wrong with a good apple dessert. So our apple crisp is wonderful, one of my favorites and my kids' favorites. So, okay, I've got crescent rolls here. We'll take 2 packages, and I've diced up some apples. Oh, I don't know, about 2 to 3 apples will be good. And Jenna, if you want to help, you just kind of roll these over like this, kind of like a.
Do you seal them?
I just kind of fold them up, make them kind of like a little blob. I'm going to spray this
like a little pocket.
Cooker. There you go.
No special technique.
No,
just get them rolled up.
Yes. So we're just going to roll those.
Just a little handful of apples in each one.
Yes. And like Gracie, the other day we were making this, and her little hand just kept going in the apples, and I had to cut up some more apples because she was eating all my apples.
It's a good snack though.
So, okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to show you how to make the glaze. You're going to take sugar, some brown sugar.
Sounds good already.
Cup of butter or margarine, whichever you prefer. And we're gonna mix in some orange juice. Now, I'm not a big fan of regular orange juice. I like some Sunny D. So I never have orange juice in my fridge, so I added Sunny D to this. Turned out good. So we're just going to get that all mixed up. Now, I don't want y'all to get worried about this glaze because it is, I mean, it's a liquid, but the longer you cook this, like the last 30 minutes, this liquid just absorbs into the dumplings.
Crescent rolls?
Yes. So if you look at it in like 2 hours and you still see a lot of liquid, I would let it cook just a little bit more.
And it's going to be a 3-hour recipe?
This is on high, I'm sorry, for 3 hours.
So we stick them down in there?
Pop them down in there.
And so we would make about double this amount because we did 1 can.
Yes, this was 1 can. We're gonna keep on doing that. We hope that y'all have enjoyed these all-American recipes. And you know, it's very important for everybody to get out there and vote and have a wonderful election day, and hopefully you can feed your family an all-American meal.
Right, just as important, you need to have your family time and have dinner around the table. So we've given you some meatloaves. Here's some final product of mine and Nicole's, and then the yummy apple dumplings, and we hope you'll have a great week.
We're gonna open these up and keep on crockin'. Happy crockin', y'all.